The morning begins before dawn, with the chill of the temple courtyard biting at my skin. I watch as the monks quietly rise, each movement deliberate, precise, and imbued with purpose. Their routines are a dance of discipline: stretches, stances, meditative walking, and slow, deliberate breathing. I join in, attempting to mirror their motions, but the awkwardness of my body is immediately apparent. Every muscle protests, every joint complains. Yet the air is filled with serenity, an almost tangible calm that surrounds the temple like a protective shield. The first lesson is awareness. Before any punches, kicks, or flips, the master insists we understand our body from the inside out. You must feel every movement, he says. Your body speaks to you. If you listen, it will tell you what is wrong, what is weak, and what is strong. Without awareness, you are blind. I am reminded of my previous martial arts experience. Karate taught me forms, discipline, and power, but it rarely demanded this level of introspection. Here, even a simple stance, feet planted, spine aligned, hands raised, is an opportunity for learning. Tiny adjustments can make the difference between a strike that merely connects and a strike that resonates with both force and intention. Iron palm training begins in earnest. The pile of ingredients, rice, beans, sand, and small pebbles, awaits my hands. My first attempt is awkward, almost painful, but the master watches patiently. Do not rush, he advises. Strike slowly, feel the resistance, feel the energy transfer. Let your body adapt to the impact. Hundreds of repetitions later, my hands are raw, streaked with blood, and yet a strange satisfaction settles in. This pain is not punishment, it is a teacher. Each throb, each sting, each ache is a message. The hand can be conditioned to deliver incredible power, but only through patience, attention, and relentless practice. It is not just strength, it is awareness, precision, and resilience. The master introduces me to another essential practice, Qigong. The movements are slow, fluid, almost ethereal. Each motion has a purpose: to circulate energy, to harmonize the body, to align breath and motion. At first, I mimic the gestures mechanically, but gradually I begin to sense the rhythm, the subtle flow of energy through my limbs and torso. It is not visible, but it is undeniably present. My body begins to feel lighter, more responsive, more alive. We break for tea, a simple ceremony that feels more like a meditation than a refreshment. The master explains that every aspect of training, even the quietest moments, is part of the practice. Tea is mindfulness. Eating is mindfulness. Walking, standing, resting, all can be training if approached with awareness and intention. Later in the day, I observe a demonstration of advanced Kungfu forms. The movements are fast, precise, and yet fluid, as if the practitioner is bending time itself. I am mesmerized. Each strike, each block, each spin carries a weight of centuries of discipline. This is not just exercise. It is poetry, a manifestation of mind, body, and spirit in harmony. You see, the master explains, it is not about brute force. It is not about which hand is stronger or which technique is faster. It is about expression. How well can you embody the principles? How well can you translate awareness into action? That is mastery. The afternoon is reserved for meditation and reflection. Sitting cross-legged on the stone floor, I focus on my breathing, counting each inhale and exhale. The mind wanders as it always does, but slowly it begins to settle. Thoughts of the outside world, emails, social media, errands fade into the background. In their place arises a profound clarity. The body is present, the mind is focused, and the spirit is alert. I am struck by the discipline required. The monks live lives structured around practice, study, and meditation. There is little room for distraction, yet it is not oppressive, it is liberating. Freed from the constant noise of the outside world, they are able to cultivate depth, insight, and understanding. It is a reminder that mastery is not a product of talent alone. It is the result of devotion, focus, and unbroken effort over time. Evening brings another session of iron palm training. I am exhausted, but my hands and forearms have begun to toughen. The master introduces subtle variations, different angles, varying speeds, alternate strikes. Precision is born of repetition, repetition is born of patience, and patience is born of commitment, he intones. I feel the truth of these words resonate with every fiber of my being. Afterwards, I am introduced to Shaolin healing techniques, including herbal remedies, acupressure, and breathing practices designed to restore energy and promote recovery. It is a reminder that martial arts are not solely about combat. They are about balance, health, and longevity. The body, after all, is the instrument through which mastery is expressed. Caring for it is not optional. It is essential. As night falls, I sit quietly in the courtyard, watching the stars emerge over the temple rooftops. The day has been long, challenging, and humbling. Yet within that exhaustion there is a profound sense of fulfillment. Each movement, each strike, each moment of awareness has built upon the last. I am not yet a master, far from it, but I have glimpsed what it means to pursue mastery from within. This segment builds on the previous one, adding detailed training sequences, philosophical reflections, daily routines, and immersive storytelling. To reach 10,000 words, the narrative would continue through weeks of training, each day expanding on iron palm, qigong, meditation, and forms. Detailed accounts of struggles and breakthroughs, showing physical pain, mental fatigue, and spiritual insight. Conversations with monks, exploring ethics, philosophy, and life lessons. Descriptions of the temple, its rituals, meals, and community life. Integration of martial arts philosophy into daily living, mindfulness, resilience, and character development. Climactic moments of advanced technique mastery, demonstrating progression and transformation. The following days unfold like a rhythm I've never known before, a rhythm dictated not by the clock, but by the body, the mind, and the ancient energy of the temple. Each morning, the courtyard greets me with its quiet discipline. Mist curls along the stone pathways, and the air carries the faint scent of incense and dew. Even in this stillness there is motion. Monks practicing stances, their forms like shadows moving in perfect synchrony, each motion deliberate, each breath intentional. I begin to notice subtle patterns in my own body that I had never perceived before. How the weight of my stance shifts with the slightest adjustment of my hips. How the tension in my shoulders can prevent energy from flowing down my arms, even before a punch lands. How breath, steady, controlled, conscious, can change the trajectory of movement, the power of impact, and the clarity of thought. The master emphasizes that this is not merely martial training, it is a journey into the self. Iron palm training continues, now with increasing complexity. Instead of a single pile of rice or sand, we progress to alternating materials, beans, pebbles, and eventually a combination that tests both strength and precision. Each strike is measured. Each strike is counted. There is a rhythm that emerges, almost musical in nature, a cadence that links intention to impact. My hands swell, sting, and occasionally bleed, but with each repetition the pain loses its sharpness, replaced by a focused awareness. Do not fear pain, the master instructs, his voice calm and unwavering. Fear is the mind's resistance. Pain is a teacher, learn its language. The words resonate deeply. I begin to understand that the body and mind are mirrors for each other. Physical resistance reflects mental resistance. Where the hand falters, the mind hesitates. Where the strike lands true, clarity is present. Martial arts are not about defeating an opponent. They are about confronting oneself over and over until fear, doubt, and hesitation no longer dictate action. Between training sessions, we engage in qigong and meditation. At first, my mind is restless, flitting from thought to thought. Worries, errands, fragments of the outside world that refuse to stay quiet. Slowly, through repetition, focus grows. I learn to observe without attachment, to breathe deeply and let the body settle. Each movement becomes more than a mechanical action. It becomes a form of meditation, a conversation with the energy that flows through the body and the temple itself. Meals are simple, yet each one becomes an exercise in mindfulness. We eat slowly, savoring textures, flavors, and the act of nourishing the body. Even routine acts, washing hands, serving tea, sweeping the floor, are infused with attention and reverence. I realize that mastery is not confined to combat or training. It is woven into every action, every choice, every breath. One afternoon, the master gathers us to observe a rare and advanced form practice. His movements are fluid, powerful, yet effortless, Wu Wei in its purest expression. Watching him, I notice that each motion is composed of micro-adjustments, subtle shifts that align the body, breath, and energy. It is not about speed or strength alone. It is about harmony, timing, and awareness. Every joint, muscle, and sinew works in concert, responding instinctively to the flow of movement. This is not learned overnight, he tells me. This is the fruit of decades. Each action, each strike, each breath is built upon countless repetitions, countless failures, countless moments of attention. Only by being present in each moment can mastery emerge. As the days blend into one another, I am confronted with my own limitations. Fatigue becomes a constant companion. My muscles ache in unfamiliar ways. My hands throb from the repeated strikes. My mind occasionally resists, longing for comfort, for ease, for a moment of respite. But the master's presence reminds me that this resistance is part of the path. Discipline is forged in discomfort, awareness deepens in struggle, and clarity emerges through sustained effort. We also explore Shaolin healing practices, connecting breath, movement, and energy to recovery. Simple exercises like pressing acupressure points or using herbal compresses remind me that martial arts are not just about exertion, they are about balance. Strength without care is destruction. Effort without awareness is wasted. The body, when respected, becomes not just a tool, but a partner, an instrument through which wisdom and skill are expressed. At night, I sit alone under the starlit sky, reflecting on the day's lessons. The temple is quiet, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant sound of a bell. I think about commitment, what it truly means to dedicate oneself. It is not a fleeting promise or a convenience. It is a deliberate choice to continue, even when progress seems invisible, even when the body and mind protest. Commitment is walking the path consistently, step by step, with patience, attention, and integrity. I also reflect on the ethical dimension of martial arts. Strength is hollow without wisdom. Power without compassion is empty. Watching the monks move, train, and interact, I see a harmony of discipline and humanity. This balance between strength and ethics, action and awareness, mind and body, is the essence of Shaolin philosophy. By the third week, my body begins to adapt. My hands, once raw and tender, are tougher, conditioned for precise and powerful strikes. My stance feels more grounded. My awareness is sharper, both in practice and in everyday life. I notice small improvements in coordination, in posture, in breath control. And yet, each victory is tempered with humility, a reminder that mastery is a lifelong pursuit. The final days at the temple are reserved for advanced forms, combining iron palm, qigong, and meditation into a single flowing practice. Movements are executed with a focus on energy, timing, and intention. The body moves almost instinctively, but the mind remains fully present, monitoring, adjusting, refining. It is a synthesis of everything learned, the physical, mental, and spiritual dimensions of training. As my time draws to a close, I sit once more with the master. Why endure this path, I ask? Why subject oneself to pain, discipline, and constant effort? He smiles, serene, because life itself is a path of discipline and awareness. Martial arts are a microcosm of life. They teach patience, resilience, focus, and compassion. They teach you to face fear, embrace struggle, and grow through every challenge. The body, mind, and spirit are intertwined. To master one is to awaken the others. That is why we train. As I prepare to leave, I realize that my journey has only begun. Shaolin training is not a finite experience. It is a continuous process of learning, growing, and refining. Knowledge may fade, but wisdom endures. Strength is fleeting, but discipline is eternal. And the day I stop learning is the day I cease to live fully. Even as I rest on a stone bench, my body exhausted and my hands marked by training, I see the truth of the Shaolin path. Mastery is cultivated in every breath, every motion, every choice. It is a life lived with awareness, courage, and intention. And I carry that lesson with me, not just in technique, but in the very way I move through the world. The final week at the Shaolin Temple Europe dawns with an energy I have not felt before, a mixture of anticipation, focus, and a quiet reverence. By now, my body has adapted to the daily rigor, hands calloused from iron palm training, legs grounded from countless stances, and breath coordinated with each movement as though it were a natural rhythm of life itself. Yet what I sense most profoundly is a shift in awareness, a connection between mind, body, and spirit that I never imagined possible when I first stepped into this ancient courtyard. The advanced forms are breathtaking in their complexity. Each movement, from a spinning kick to a flowing punch, is integrated with the principles I have been practicing for weeks: iron palm conditioning, Danshan breathing, and meditative focus. The master demonstrates, and I watch carefully, noting the subtle nuances, the slight tilt of the wrist, the timing of the exhale, the shift of weight from one leg to another. It is no longer simply a mechanical imitation. It becomes a dialogue between my intention and my body's response. This, the master explains, is where skill becomes art, not in the repetition alone, not in raw power, but in the unity of awareness and movement. Action without thought is blind. Thought without action is empty. Mastery lies in the harmony of both. I practice each sequence slowly, focusing on the flow rather than the speed. At first, errors are frequent, my timing off, my stance misaligned, my breath uneven. But slowly, over countless repetitions, the movements begin to coalesce. Each strike resonates with precision, each block flows seamlessly into the next, and for the first time I feel something I cannot describe as purely physical, a sense of alignment, of energy circulating through the body in a way that is almost tangible. Between sessions, we discuss philosophy, meditation, and ethics. The monks speak of strength not as domination, but as responsibility. They speak of courage not as fearlessness, but as the willingness to face fear and act with awareness. Compassion, they explain, is not weakness. It is clarity of intention, the ability to act for the good of others while maintaining discipline and self-mastery. I realize how much these lessons extend beyond the temple walls. In daily life, in work, in relationships, in every decision, the principles are the same. Awareness, patience, commitment, and balance. These are not abstract concepts. They are tools for navigating life with integrity, focus, and resilience. Martial arts, in this sense, is not just a set of techniques. It is a lens through which to view and engage with the world. The final iron palm session is both the most grueling and the most rewarding. My hands are battered, my forearms screaming, but there is a clarity in each strike that I had not experienced before. The master observes silently, nodding occasionally. When the session concludes, he hands me a small cup of tea. We sit in silence, the sun lowering behind the temple rooftops, casting long shadows across the courtyard. "Remember," he says softly, "the training does not end when you leave this place. It continues in every choice, every breath, every action. What you have learned here is not only technique, but perspective, awareness, and strength of character. Carry it with you. Practice it in the world. Mastery is a lifetime journey." I spend the final evening reflecting on the journey. From the first moments of uncertainty and pain to the gradual awakening of awareness, the weeks have been transformative. I have learned to embrace discomfort, to see struggle as a teacher, and to recognize the profound link between mind, body, and spirit. The discipline of the temple has become a mirror, reflecting both my limitations and my potential. The farewell ceremony is simple yet moving. Monks move with grace and calm, demonstrating forms one last time, sharing silent nods and acknowledgments. I bow, feeling gratitude not only for the teachings but for the presence, the patience, and the wisdom of everyone in the temple. This is more than training. It is initiation into a tradition of awareness, resilience, and ethical strength that stretches back centuries. As I walk away from the temple, hands bandaged, muscles fatigued, and mind sharpened, I realize that Shaolin is not merely a place, it is a way of being. Its lessons extend beyond technique, beyond the courtyard, beyond the forms. They are lessons in living fully with attention, intention, and courage. The journey does not end here. It continues in every action, every choice, every breath. Even now, sitting quietly in a small room far from the temple, I feel the imprint of those weeks. My hands retain their calluses, my body remembers the stances, and my mind carries the discipline and clarity cultivated through relentless practice. Shaolin has taught me that mastery is not a destination. It is a process, a lifelong pursuit of awareness, resilience, and alignment between who you are and how you act in the world. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Knowledge is fleeting, technique is temporary, but wisdom endures. The day I stop learning is the day I stop living fully. Shaolin is not merely a tradition of fighting. It is a tradition of living deliberately, courageously, and with a heart aligned to both strength and compassion. Even in rest, the monks continue to teach. Their posture, their calm, their presence. It is impossible to separate life from practice. And as I move forward from this experience, I carry that lesson with me. Every breath, every motion, every thought is an opportunity to train, to grow, and to live in alignment with the deepest principles of strength, awareness, and inner mastery. Shaolin is not behind me. It is within me. And as I continue my journey, I know that every day is an opportunity to live with the focus, awareness, and courage I have learned from within these ancient walls.